All right. Cool, cool, cool. Welcome, everybody. So thank you so much for coming in on the Sunday and spending some time with us, man. Trying to get better, trying to just increase our reach and just increase, our vision for what we want to do and how we're going to attack what we're going to do. Um, and I wanted to kind of start off number one. Welcome to the call, everybody. Oh, let me put it on mute here. I forget. So people don't do mute off. Cool. Continue. All right. Let me start off by apologizing. So I want to apologize because and some of you have I've said this too. That I honestly feel like it's not just my job, and you guys make sure you let me know. If you can't hear me because I am different. Um, but I want to start off by apologizing because it's not solely my job. What's going on, Kat? It's not my job just to teach you wholesaling. It's not my job. It's not solely my job to teach you techniques on how to find buyers, how to find sellers. Um, it's actually the biggest part of my job is to make sure that um, that I'm taking care of you emotionally in this to a certain extent. Obviously, some of the things you have to take care of yourself. Some of the things that I can't really do, but it's my job to at least equip you with the tools um, to give you the best chance of success. And sometimes I forget that everybody's journey is a little bit different. I've been blessed in the sense that I've been able to go through a lot of hardships, right? Um, not just like solely financially, but through different trials that I've voluntarily pushed and placed myself into. And so, just one example, like most of you guys know, is on the SWAT team, right? So I voluntarily decided to join one of the hardest SWAT teams in the country. But through that emotional journey, because a lot of it is physical, but the physical affects the emotion. Actually, the opposite way, the emotion affects the physical, but we're going to get into that tonight. Through that journey, I was able to create and build certain narrow recruitment patterns, certain ways of thinking, certain ways of catching myself and stopping myself from going down a path that leads to inactivity or might lead to an action that is not particularly the one that I want to have on the outcome. So sometimes I forget that not everybody has that experience, and therefore I forget to touch on some of these basic things that we need to take and we need to internalize if we're going to be successful entrepreneurs. Specifically, what's going on, Sis? Specifically, entrepreneurs. If we want to be successful, really in anything, but because this is more of an entrepreneurial um, set, um, I want to talk about that. So, number one, I apologize for that. Um, but now that that's kind of come to the forefront of my mind, I want to attack this head on. All right. So I really wanted to do a good job with this and try to do the best I can of explaining my thought process. Okay. Um, being effective doesn't start um, with you learning a skill, right? Being effective doesn't start with you learning how to go down to the the tax office and learning how to obtain the delinquent tax list. That's not the start. And I think sometimes when we look at our videos and we get into our coaching calls, we want to do that. So imagine you wanting to drive in a car and you don't realize that you first need to start by having the key to put into the ignition. But you're in the car and you're wondering why it's not going, but you forgot the start, the beginning point was I need the key. Okay. So I want to go back to the key. And the key really is not learning the skill, but the key is really wanting to learn the skill. Now I know that sounds basic. That sounds like, okay, Tom, let's push through this part. But the wanting is everything. Okay. The wanting is the everything, because the want or desire, right? The want or the desire is a feeling. That feeling comes with emotion, right? So emotion and feelings kind of come hand in hand, right? You really can't have one without the other. Okay. So I actually wrote down the definition of emotion. Okay. All right. So emotions, the affective with an A, all right, aspect of consciousness. That's one definition. A state of feeling. So you can tell us that the our emotions come with the feeling. You can't have one without the other. But here's the good one. A conscious mental reaction, such as anger or fear, subjectively experienced as a strong feeling, usually directed towards a specific object, and typically is accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. So I want you to, there's a couple key things in that. The fact that it says affective with an A, affective, right? That's number one. Number two, that it's specific, objective, that is typically accompanied with a physiological and behavioral change in the body. All right. What this means is that your emotions have control over you physically. It's not just no longer what you feel inside, but it actual has repercussions outwardly, where you're physically changed. Okay, think of someone who's sad or depressed. A lot of times when they're sad and depressed, what happens? Their shoulders drop, their head drops, their voice starts to get a little bit lower. They're physically changed. It's manifested physically because of how their emotions affect their feelings. Okay, right? This is why you wanting, which wanting goes with desire, desire is attached to a feeling, feeling is attached to emotion. You wanting to learn this is step one. Okay, this is why you wanting to 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 be a little more specific, you wanting to increase your buyers list, like we were talking about, is the beginning step for that particular objective. Okay, how do we how do we do that? We're going to talk about some action steps on how we can do that. But the want is what desire is key, right? And so we have to control the feeling that is attached with that. What's going on, Zenobia? We have to we have to control those feelings, because if those feelings are unchecked or not in control, then we either don't have those feelings, or those feelings are directed in a negative lane. Does that make sense? We have to take those feelings, those same feelings of what we want. Sometimes those feelings that we want are not appropriately channeled to get the desire that we actually want. It's miscued. It's off course, right? You think about a plane that takes off from Atlanta and is trying to go to New Jersey. If that plane, when it takes off, if it's just 1 degree off, by the time it gets to New Jersey, or by the time it gets where it should be at New Jersey, it's way out somewhere in the ocean or way out west, right? So we have to make sure that what we're feeling is true, and that we're focused on what we're feeling so we can get the correct effect, right? So by changing and controlling your feelings and emotions, we can start the affect. All right, the affect with an A process. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. Affect with an A-F-F-E-C-T. I'm gonna read this definition as well, because I don't want to make these things up. All right, affect. This is coming out straight out of the dictionary. A set of observable manifestations of a subjective experienced emotion. That's huge. It's observable manifestations, like it's happening in the physical. All right, just from our feelings. So affect, which we read before is a part of emotions, is observable manifestations of what we subjectively experience through emotion. Effect with an E is something that inevitably follows an antecedent or an event. Okay, the effect happens only after the affect. The effect is due specifically because of action. But how do we get the action? Is through the affect. And how do we get the affect? Is through the feeling or emotion. So um, Perfect example. I am standing outside right now, right? I'm standing outside doing this call. Um, so I live in like a loft style apartment, and so my son was sitting in the living room and he's watching TV, right? He's watching TV loud, actually. He's watching Benji. You guys remember Benji? That was a dope movie, man. And I cried every time. Oh, Benji. But I knew we had this call. So I felt, I felt bad about making him turn off the TV, right? Um, because when I went to go tell him, hey, we got to turn off the TV, he got all upset and got sad. The effect of that feeling was me allowing him to watch TV and me being outside here in the cold, right? So the affect, the feeling, is what drove the action or the effect. Okay, can't you can't. These are small. They seem like they're very small, but they're huge. And I was talking with someone who's on the call night right now earlier today. We're not going to call out any names because we don't need to do that. But I was talking with someone, and they have a lead, but they they hadn't taken any action, all right, because of how they were feeling. The feeling drove the inaction or the action. You can look at really, really, there isn't anything such thing as inaction, right? If you don't do something and you're sitting in one spot, you actually have the action of sitting in one spot, right? So it's still action. Um, so the feeling drove the action. And I'm seeing this over and over and over again. Zenobia, I keep bringing up Zenobia's case. I love you, Zenobia. I keep bringing up her case because she wasn't feeling that she could accomplish something. So if I allowed that to go unchecked, that feeling would have led to the action of her doing nothing. But because we were able to modify just for a little bit, and that's the key point right there, just for a little bit, we were able to modify her feeling. That feeling led to action, and that action eventually led to a whole series of things that she could not even imagine was going to happen that led her to a deal. The feeling is so important, okay? So how do we change or modify our emotions? How do we change or modify our emotions? Because those emotions affect the feeling affects the affect affects the effect. How do we change those things? So these are some of the things that I personally do, right? Um, I suggest that you do them. These are not my own things. This is not Tommy's, I'm not that good. I'm not that smart. These are not my, revelations. Like I just got these from watching and being around people who are successful. So number one, none of these you've heard, you haven't heard before probably. Okay. Number one is read books. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've heard me say this before, right? Read 8 pages, just 8 pages. Like think about how long does it take to read 8 pages? Not very long, right? Most people can read 8 pages in a matter of what, 15, 20 minutes. Okay. If you can't read 8 pages, if that's just taking, if like you're really that busy and you can't afford to do that, then read 4, read 1. I don't care, but read something every day. They keep saying, hear what I'm saying though. I'm saying read, like actually have a book, like a physical book. Okay. All right. Read something every single day. For me, I've been reading, I've been reading the Bible, right? In the morning. I try to read the Bible in the morning before I do anything, right? I try to devote that amount of time to my faith, right? But because of that, it's because of what I'm doing, I'm creating a habit. That habit is also creating a feeling, and then I get in the habit of feeling a certain way. When I read the Bible, I feel good. So what you read is important. Make sure that what you're reading is making you feel good, because that again affects your emotions, right? So reading 8 pages every day. Write down what you want. But here's the thing, everybody, it's New Year's time, right? Everybody's written down their New Year's resolutions, which I told you guys. Hopefully you guys didn't, because I don't believe in the New Year's resolution thing, right? But I want you to write down what you want every day. Most people do it New Year's resolution, right? Man, I should have brought my book. I could have showed you. Most people have New Year's resolutions and they write them down. And then they write them down once, and they put them on a little sticky note on their door, and they never write them down again until the next year. And they will look up and they're like, man, I didn't get any of that accomplished. Okay. What I want you guys to do is to physically write them down every single day. It needs to be imprinted and implanted into your brain every single day. Guys, listen to me. This is easy, right? This is not hard, right? Writing your wants down, right? Write your wants down is such a powerful thing, especially if you do what I'm telling you to and write them, not text them or type them. When you type, you only have about 8 movements when you type on the computer, right? Same thing with texting, it's about the same. When you physically write something, right? When I write these, right, there's over 10,000 movements that it takes to write, okay? To write a paragraph, to write a couple of sentences, right? Over 10,000, okay? So you got 8 versus 10. Remember, there's a lot of different ways to affect how we feel, okay? Writing out our goals, because obviously hopefully it's something that you want, that's going to be a good thing, something that you want to happen, right? So if it's something that you want to happen and you're writing about it, okay, you're writing it, it's making you feel what? Good, right? It's making you feel like you can accomplish it. So again, I wish I would have brought it downstairs. I didn't think about it, but my little book that I have, the one I have on the top is, I want to close a big wholesale deal this month, right? So it's very specific, right? I want to close a big wholesale deal this month, okay? And I'm writing that down. And as I'm writing it, I'm thinking about it. I know what it feels like to close a wholesale deal, and it makes me feel good, right? And so because it makes me feel good, it's going to direct my actions to getting what I need to get done in order to have a good big wholesale deal, right? So writing them down, okay? Number 3, I hope you guys are writing these down. Talk or associate yourself with people who were where you are and are where you want to be. Talk or associate with people who were where you are and are where you want to be. So I'm not saying don't talk to the person that's super successful, that grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. Like, they're gonna have wisdom, and they're gonna have things that you might not know, that you can still learn from. But the greatest teachers are the people who were where you are, so they know what it felt like to be there, right, in your position. I'll tell you something personally. So in the middle of me being a police officer, I was going through family issues, right? And during that time frame, it was literally a police officer that was homeless, right? I was living out of my police car. I literally would park my car. I would go to work. I would park my car at the station. I would take showers in the station. I would sleep in my police car, and then I would wake up and I would go back to work. And then we'd do call outs. I go to a call out. I come back. I shower, work out, come back and sleep in my police car, right? I know what it feels like to not have a home to go to, right? I know what that feels like. So how much more powerful is that if I can relate to someone with empathy who had to endure that, right? I can help them a little bit more. So maybe that's not your story. Maybe your story is that you're a single mom. Maybe you're a single dad, right? So if you can find someone who's been in that position and has been able to be successfully get out of that position, it's going to give you that much more confidence that you can do the same, right? And that confidence is what? A feeling, right? I'm telling you guys, it sounds like it's a simple thing, but it's super, super important to you guys becoming effective. There's a lot of stagnation because of feelings, because you don't really believe that you can get this done. And doing these couple of things are going to change how you feel, which is eventually going to change your actions. Okay. So talk or associate yourself with someone who was where you are, but they are where you want to be at. All right. Number 4, here's a fun one. This is the one I love to do. I love to daydream, but I need you to daydream comfortably. I need you to daydream comfortably. Daydream comfortably. What do I mean by that? And this is crazy. This is one that like I heard someone talk about, um, and I heard someone talk about it, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't realize, all right, man, some of the success that I've had was because of this stuff. But then I heard someone say it, and I was like, oh man, that now I see why I'm able to do what I'm doing. Now I can see why my gym was successful. Now I can see why my entertainment business was successful, and my wholesaling business is successful. Now I get it. So one of my comfortable, we getting personal here. One of my comfortable places to be is in the shower. Like my water bill is stupid because I'll stay in the shower for as long as I got hot water. Man, don't let me get one of those Renai joints. Those tank. Anybody one of y'all got them tankless water heaters? Oh, it's my water bill is gonna be ridiculous. I remember one time I was out in California and I was working for I was like a 1099 like a contractor for this company. And we used to teach people how to fly drones, and they put me out in California, and we lived in a hotel for like 4 months. Oh my God, I know they hated me. I know their water bill was ridiculous because I would stay in the shower. I would stay in the shower. I literally would stay in the shower for sometimes 2, 3 hours because the hot water was endless, right? And I would just at that time my focus was on my dream. I'm sorry, on my gym, right? I was going over there, I was learning how to do that, teaching people how to do it, and then I went overseas to make some money so I could start my gym, right? And so I would literally sit in the shower and just daydream comfortably in the shower about this gym. I mean, I knew people who came to me once I actually started the gym, and they were like, "Yo, the colors in here are crazy, man. I love the color of the walls. Like, where did you like all that stuff?" I just sat in the shower, and all of that stuff came up, came through me sitting somewhere comfortably and daydreaming. I knew what colors I wanted it to be. I knew how I wanted to start it. I know how I wanted to end it. I know what my saying was: to hate your workout, love your results. I knew all that stuff like a year before my gym ever was actually around. And it was all because I would find myself my comfortable spot, which happened to be the shower. Maybe it's not the shower for you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's the jacuzzi. Maybe it's your bedroom. Maybe it's, in your car, wherever your comfort zone is, wherever you feel really, really comfortable at. Okay. Only time I don't feel comfortable in the showers when that water get cold and I gotta get out. But any size besides that, man, I feel comfortable. And I literally, to this day, I do my best thinking. This course, this E2E course, came from in the shower. So you guys didn't know it, but you were in the shower with me. I know that sounds a little weird, but it's the truth. All right. I didn't know who you guys were going to be, but I knew someone was going to want this information. And that came from me sitting there and daydreaming about this. So daydream, but daydream comfortably. Too many of us are daydreaming at work. You're not comfortable at work. You sit in your cubicle or you're in traffic, right? And you're daydreaming, but you're not putting any real focused energy to it. So it's just it's a fleeting thought. It's not really taking root. It's not really creating an emotion or really a strong enough feeling that is going to affect the effect. You guys follow me? All right. So daydream comfortably. All right. And this thing right here was going to require some participation. Um, so right now, and follow along with me on this, guys, okay? Um, right now, I want you to pick one thing as it pertains, because we're talking about wholesaling now, so we're going to kind of switch this back. As it pertains to wholesaling and the wholesaling process, I'm talking about any and everything that goes along with it, okay? So I want to be very clear. Any and anything that goes along with the wholesaling process, whether it's studying it, whether it's finding buyers, whether it's sellers, anything along goes with it that scares you. Anything that goes along with the wholesale process that scares you, I want you to write that one thing down. The one thing that scares you, okay, about the wholesaling process. Write it down. Okay. So once everybody has done that, I'm gonna go one by one, and we're going to just real quick, we don't have to get into a long joint, but we're going to talk about what's the one thing that scares you through the process. We're just going to see what the consensus is. What's the things that are scaring us from achieving what we're doing. So I got I don't know if my screen looks exactly like yours and it changes from time to time, but I'm gonna go up and unmute people. So Anthony, you're gonna be the first person to unmute. Can you just real quick tell us the one thing that you have written down? I'm trying to unmute you. There you go.
Yeah, mine is just not getting it done. I guess that's the fear that I have, which is kind of the segue you had there, because that's what I want to talk to you about later. Just not getting the deal done, man. We haven't closed the deal just yet. We've had people have contracts, been really, really close, have buyers lined up, the whole nine seems like, but can't finish. So
your fear is the fear of not getting a deal done.
yeah, let me say this month. Let's put it like that too. Put a time limit on it, because I know it'll happen eventually, but it's been a minute, man. So trying to get it done. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Appreciate it. All right. Willie, you're the next one on my list up here. Real quick. Unmute you. Hold on, unmute you. I don't know what. There we go. Maybe it takes a little.
Yeah, it's I agree, Anthony. It's the same, not getting a deal done because I haven't closed my first deal yet.
Is there a specific thing that's stopping you within that process?
Not really. Probably finding like a good qualified buyer. Really.
Okay.
Because I can the beginning part and getting, because I have got a contract, so that part doesn't scare me. But the end part and finding once I get the contract and finding a buyer, because I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Appreciate it. Antoine, what's up, man? Let me know what your thing. I think you're already unmuted. You should be able to talk now, I think. No, hold on. Antoine, I can't hear you. It says.
How about now?
Oh, hold on. All right, now you're good. Go ahead.
Well, going on appointments, that's the only thing used to kind of scare me. I haven't been on an appointment in a while, but because I feel that'll make or break the whole, the deal. But
Going on appointments.
but
Going on more appointments then.
yeah, pretty much. But other than that, I don't think nothing else.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right, Bill. What's the one thing that still scares you? Oh, hold on. There you go. You're good now. Now you can talk.
Not knowing enough, thinking I don't know enough information to solve like someone's problems.
Okay. Not knowing enough to solve problems. Okay. All right. Thank you, bro. Kat, you next.
Hey, so my biggest fear is not knowing the price to actually offer the seller. And it's kind of beautiful. Once I've met with the buyer, the seller and everything, to actually, so I have the deal under contract, and then I'm scared, like, what if I don't have a buyer within those 30 days or however long the contract is for?
Okay. So what I didn't catch the very first thing. You said not knowing what?
Not knowing the price to offer the seller.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Big Ten. I don't know who Big Ten is. Are you there, Big Ten? I guess I can't get a hold of Big Ten. So we're going to Crystal. What's good?
So there is cold calling because I feel like I don't know. I feel like the confidence I'm on the phone with the seller, and then to be able to like negotiate, and then just to know like what to say so I can get me going to the house cold calling skills.
Okay. All right, hold on. I'm sorry. Got you. So cold calling. Zenobia, you still can't hear me?
I got it now. I had to restart it.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. I'm bad with getting all the other stuff done. All right. Well, Zenobia, actually, you're next now.
I think my biggest fear is putting too much in the wrong place, like spending too much time doing something when I can put it into something else, and spending too much money maybe into marketing and not really making that money back as quickly as I probably need to. Putting my focus in the wrong areas, and then I could possibly miss out on something. You know what I mean?
Got you. Putting too much time, money, and focus, which really is all focus. Putting too much focus in the wrong area.
Right.
In the wrong area. Okay. All right. Next. Oh, Kiana. What's going on?
Hey everybody. I guess mine would be, because I actually went through a process, would be someone backing out of a backing out of a deal. I just decided, like, hey, you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna go through with it. And just what would be I guess you can say, the response to that, or how could I continue to keep them, like, to get them to change their mind?
So the fear of having a deal in your grasp and then it falling through your fingers, and basically the fear of having a deal, failing at the deal, not getting the deal done.
Right.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Eddie.
Hey. For me, it's really just some people kind of said some of the things that I was dealing with, but if I would have to say something different, it would be the fear of just not doing enough. A lot of times, you can kind of feel like you're on your own island, and I start to second guess, like, hey, is this working or is it not working? Because I'm not really comparing it to a group, or like right now I have the whole team on the call. So just to kind of get over that feeling and to allow myself to be able to double down and do more.
Okay. So not doing enough. You have a specific area where you're saying you're not doing enough?
Yeah.
If it's the same thing someone else has said, because this is all personal, so it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just,
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Somebody else kind of said it in the beginning, but not doing enough as far as reaching out to sellers and closing the deal.
Got you. All right. Thank you. All right, Siv, you're up, man.
Hey, Simon, can you hear me?
Yes, got you, man.
All right. So for me, it's like talking to people and convincing them that I'm their solution. But at the same time, also convincing myself I am offering them a solution. It's like a twofold where I'm, trying to make myself believe I can give them a solution, and also make them believe I am their solution at the same time. That's what I'm struggling with.
That's good right there. So it's convincing yourself. Okay. Amen. All right. Perfect. And so, all right. Josh, you're up, fam.
How you doing? My biggest fear wasn't really a fear at all. It was more of a feeling of being impatient. Hearing other people closing deals, getting opportunities, and wondering why it's not happening that fast for me. Once I really started talking to myself and just telling myself, look, trust the process, those kind of feelings kind of subsided and went away from me. I also had a general feeling of there were days where I just wasn't doing enough, which is why I was so pressed on, driving for dollars and things of that nature. But the area that I'm in, I've been here for almost 2 months now. I just really didn't. I knew how to research, the hot area codes and all that through the course. And then, I would find houses and research them, and either they were already, snatched up by another wholesaler or something like that. And I just had to really basically talk to myself and tell myself stop rushing things and just, it's okay if things don't happen right away. And even if they don't happen, I had to really tell myself, even if they don't happen in 6 months, I know this is possible. And I know that once it gets going, it's going to snowball and it's really going to, turn up for me, so to speak. So it's more of an impatient feeling than any fear. But, after, I guess, meditating, so to speak, when you touching back on verbal affirmations and me writing stuff down and me just telling myself when I get up in the morning, I'm going to be a successful wholesaler. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And, that kind of put me in the right mindset to not rush things. And it's okay. It's fine. And that's where I was at.
Perfect. And so I want to touch on a couple of things. And Josh brought up some good points. Even with that, right? Hear what he's saying, right? He's feeling like that. He's seen other people get deals done, and then he's feeling like, man, when is this going to happen for me? It's being impatient, right? And that feeling is doubt. Is that really kind of what I'm hearing? Like a little bit of doubt in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What is doubt, right? Doubt is the fear of not being able to have, do, or get what you want, right? So it's even though, and I get what you're saying, it's not like you're trembling in the corner, shaking, but it's like, man, am I going to be able to do this? Like, can I do this? I'm doubting myself. I'm almost like, it's almost like being fearful of being inadequate in this particular area, right? And so, it all comes down to that fear of what we're really kind of hash out here. But I appreciate you sharing that, man. Appreciate that, bro. Chris, you're up, man. Let me unmute you. I'm trying to unmute you. I don't know why some people. There we go.
My fear is most like kind of like what Josh said. It's like really self-doubt, and I deal with procrastination a lot because I'm like, man, it's taking too long. Let me move to something else. And that's just how it's not really say fear. Like I did the cold calling. I did some of those stuff. It's just procrastination. It's like, it's not happening quick enough for me.
Gotcha.
So that's my biggest problem.
Perfect. All right, awesome. All right, Alex. Right.
What's going on, Tommy?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. I think for me, it's pretty much, I think somebody said earlier too, not being an expert, and it's kind of feeling like I would mess up, I guess, to say my brand, so to speak. Not doing the deal the right way, or something like that.
So basically, essentially, it's a fear of failure.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. LeVon, my man, what's up? First time on the call. Appreciate that, Alex. Number one. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, fam. Good. Welcome, LeVon.
Yeah,
It's your first time on here, so definitely want to welcome you to the family, fam.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So my biggest fear is, not being able to deliver what I promised to the seller / letting the seller down, because us as wholesalers and investors, we're the ones who are hitting up these sellers who are like sometimes in sticky situations, and us promising them, hey, we can help you solve your problem in 30 days, 15 days, or X amount of days. I feel the fear of not delivering what I promised to that seller.
All right, perfect. Got you. Thank you, man. And the last two are phone numbers, so I'm gonna go with 972-333-3851. Who's that? I'll unmute you real quick. Are you there? Phone number, last four is 3851 on the phone number. Nope. And all right, so I'm gonna go with last four on the phone number, 3530. 3530, are you there?
Yes, I am. This is April. And I guess my biggest fear in the past has been cold calling. But I've started doing it more, so it's not as frightening for me.
Got you. Perfect. All right. real quick. All right, so thank you for that. Thanks for sharing that. All right, so this has come with some time and learning, and some of you guys probably won't have this happen to you, but this has come with some time and learning about coaching different personalities, right? Because my old way of thinking would have been the military or the SWAT way, and just said shut up and just do it, right? Um, but I've learned that everybody doesn't like. That's the way I would do it, right? And again, going in SWAT school, we used to have this thing where we have to jump off of this. It was like about a 5-story building. It was the last day of SWAT school, and you had to stand on the edge, and you literally had to walk off the edge, right? It was the very last day of SWAT school. If you don't do it, you don't graduate. And so they forced you to do this, right? And you would jump off this building, free fall into. You guys seen like on the cartoons those airbags when the people jump out of buildings, whatever, right? That thing hurts when you hit that thing, right? But the point of them doing that is that, listen, you don't want to do it. I don't care. We don't care. You're going to do it anyway, right? And so it's really that simple for some. It's really that simple for some. But for some of us, that is not that simple. We're going to go ahead and go through some things that we can do to become better at these things. So everybody, number one, everybody who said they had a fear that I can get in contact with, I wrote these down, right? Admitting to the fact that that's the fear is one big thing, right? Because if we just go through saying, man, I can't get a deal done. Well, why can't you get a deal done? There's some reasons why. But if we just leave it as a general thing, I can't get a deal done, then it's just general, and we're never able to attack the real reason. Some of your real reasons are cold calling. Some of you is not knowing the price to offer. Some of you is convincing yourself that you're good enough, right? If you're, how can we all heard it. Civ said it, and it is powerful. He said convincing himself and the seller. Well, you can't convince the seller until you can convince yourself. Well, now we know. Okay, Civ has an issue of fear of not knowing whether or not he's good enough to do this. So now we can attack just how we can help that. Does that make sense? So one of the things that I want you guys to do, I already talked about writing your stuff down. So you're going to write down whatever your fear is, right? First of all, before we do that, I want you to imagine every time that thought comes into your head, every time you pick up the phone and it's time to cold call, because that's typically one of the biggest things. I'm surprised we didn't get more cold calling, right? None of you guys are afraid of cold calling, right? But some of you said it was cold calling. Typically, when we pick up the phone, we're struck with this fear, right? And I need you, there's a physiological reason for that, right? There's these things called neuro recruitment patterns, right? When I used to train people in the gym, I used to talk about neuro recruitment patterns, right? The way we think, this is powerful, right? The way we think, we send electrical signals, and they're trained to come in a certain way. They always come in a certain way unless we change the way they move from our body. And I would do this example. I would tell 5 people to line up side by side. And I said, I just want you to do whatever I tell you to as soon as I tell you to, without thinking. And the easiest thing I would tell them, I said, raise your right hand, right? And some people, I don't know if you guys can see me, some people would raise their right hand like this, right? So that big swing on the outside. Some people would do like this and then go up. Some people would go straight up, right? Each one of these people would raise their hand, a very common task, differently. Because when they heard the command, raise your right hand, their neural recruitment patterns say, oh, we've done this 1,000 times. This is the way we do it. We swing out to the side and we come up this way without even thinking, right? These are some of the same things that happens when we cold call. Well, only difference is that now we got to pick up this phone and actually we have to use some other neural recruitment patterns to speak, to talk about things. Bill's excited. But those are the neural recruitment patterns that we have to train, right? Those also neural recruitment patterns don't just end with the physiological, right? They also can affect our endocrine system, which, if you know what the endocrine system does, can affect our mood. It puts out certain um, um, uh, chemicals in our body, dopamine, that can affect how we feel and those things how we feel, as we already talked about, or how we act. So those neural recruitment patterns are powerful. How do we interrupt those bad neural recruitment patterns? Okay, as soon as you guys feel like, um, Anthony says, not getting a deal done, man, I just feel like I'm not gonna get this deal done. I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel like, man, I just feel the fear of not getting the deal done is what's inhibiting me. The fear of not knowing enough to solve a problem, like Bill was talking about, the fear of cold calling, right? As soon as you get that fear, I need you to say, what would I do right now if I was 10 times bolder? Think about that, because what it's doing is going to interrupt that neural recruitment pattern, which is going to affect your emotions. But the reason what they're really doing is affecting the endocrine system that is going to give you the confidence that you need. Okay, I keep going back to the like in SWAT, right? When we have to go into a building. Well, we've gone into a building before, where we're training. Okay, we're going to a building before, where we're practicing going in and the people are shooting at us, right? And we have to get over that fear, right, of being shot at, right? And we practice that, practice that, practice that, practice that. So it's not that when it happens for real that we're not scared. It's just that we've already practiced and we've already interrupted those neural recruitment patterns that said run, and we've created a neural recruitment pattern that says enter, that says go, right? So you attacking the fear of why you're not doing by saying, what would I do right now if I was 10 times bolder? If I was 10 times bolder, what would I do? What would be the very next thing if I knew I could not fail? What would I do then? What would I do if I was 10 times bolder? You have to train yourself to think that way. And then eventually it'll just happen subconsciously and you won't have to think about it. And guess what? You'll start to become bolder. You'll start to not think about whether or not you're going to get it done. You get a deal done. You're going to be thinking about how many deals you're going to get done because you're changing the way you think. All right. These things are important as well. I want you, now that you've written down what you're afraid of, I want you to also write down exactly, how you're going to get these. So, for example, let me see. I'm just going to pick one. Antoine said going on more appointments. All right. I want you to write down, and whatever you wrote down, apply it to yourself. I want you to write down that you are going to feel happy when you go on more appointments. And how many more appointments? I'm going to feel however you feel like, it should be a good feeling, right? Obviously, you want to feel good. How am I going to feel when I go on 3 appointments? And I want you to picture, I want you to close your eyes and picture. Remember, I talked about daydream comfortably, right? I want you to picture going on 3 appointments and you feel happy about going on those 3 appointments, okay? Because I know that most people are not going to want to do things that they feel bad about. So I need you to imagine yourself feeling happy as you're going, as you're in the car and you're playing your favorite song, you know, whatever your favorite type of music is, and you're driving and you're on your way to that appointment and you're singing and you're laughing and you're happy about going to this appointment, right? You're cold calling. You're feeling about, man, I can't wait to get onto the next homeowner because I know that next one is going to be the one that's going to get me closer to that check. Feeling happy about it. And you can't do that the first time you pick up the phone. You have to do that in the moments where you're not, where everything is calm and chill and you're in your comfortable place, right? Make sure you guys are doing those things. So those are 2 things we're going to go. I mean, I've been going on and on. I really didn't intend for this thing to be this long, but I think there's been so many good things to kind of point out that I want you guys to take action on, and do. So, one other thing before I get on, before I go on to, yeah, I appreciate that, Kat. One other thing before I share my screen to help out, I think that was Anthony. Um, last last Wednesday, we talked about this is our buyers month. We're going to increase our buyers list, right? And I made a mistake of just saying, hey, we're going to increase our buyers list. If you're going to do one, do one. I don't want to do that. I want everybody to increase their buyers list by 10. Hold up, that's 5, 10. All right. I want everybody to increase their buyers list by 10. I want to give a specific goal. Now, if you want to go above 10, cool. But I want a specific goal of 10. We're going to, everybody on here, close your eyes. I want you to feel how happy you're going to be, man, when you have 10 extra buyers. Man, I can see it right now. I can see them being ecstatic when I'm sending out the text messages to them about the property. I can see them texting me back. I can see me going on appointments. I can see all that clearly, and I want you to be able to see that too. So 10 is what we're going after, 10 buyers. Now, if that means you're driving around for buyers, I know we drive for dollars a lot, looking for abandoned properties, but if that means you're driving around for buyers, D4B, then do that, right? Do D4B as many times as it takes for you to get those 10, okay? If it takes you going down to the tax, the tax sales and talking with buyers there, it was even better than going down to tax sales for buyers, going to the, go to auction.com, their sales, their auction sales. Because those people are always paying too much. They're always paying too much. All right. So those are good things to do. All right. All right. So I think I'm wrapping this up. I'm gonna go ahead and Anthony, it was you, right? Let me take you off mute. Can't take Anthony off mute now. Anthony, can you take yourself off mute? I can't.
Yes and no. It was us that we had an issue with closing the deal, but it's not.
Who was it that was on the phone with me earlier?
It was me, Willie.
Okay, I'm sorry, Anthony. All right, let me put you back on mute, Anthony. My bad. All right, Willie. Let me do this here. Can't see that. Okay. We're going Zillow because that's what you have access to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell everybody real quick what your problem was. Actually, before you do that, what's the address so I can put it down in here?
The address is 15905 Dunbury Drive.
Dunbury?
Yeah, Dunbury.
Bury Drive. And city?
It should be Maple Heights, Ohio.
Maple Heights. Okay. So 15905. Oh, shoot. I thought I was typing. 15905. So go ahead and tell everybody what your problem was. So for people who weren't on the call earlier.
So basically, I got an appointment for tomorrow, and she told me that I think somebody told her that the house was worth 85, but I looked on Zillow, and I saw a house that was a 3-2. The house is a 4-2. I seen a house that was like, it was on the same street that was sold for like 129, I think. I think it was right there. And I was basically asking like, can you use like 3-2 and stuff as your comp?
Okay,
I was just seeing like to get an exact ARV, so not mess it up.
Cool. So a couple things. So I know a lot of people are having problems with ARV. If you happen to be in the Georgia area next February, next time we do our real estate meetup, I am going to bring my plan is to bring an appraiser. So I'm going to find an appraiser to actually come in and talk about ARV and how they do it from their standpoint. But we're going to help you out with this right now. So a couple things that I need to know from right now. I'm looking at the Zillow page right here, and the first thing I'm looking at is beds and bath, right? So I have 4-2, and then we got 1,576 square feet. That's the most important part right there, the square footage, okay? So that's all well and good. We can close this out for now. But when I close this out, okay, it's going to show us really quickly. You'll see it go from a white to a gray dot on the screen where that house is. It's important for us to see this. So try to find it, try to see it when I close this out, right? All right, so you saw it real quick, right? It was right here, okay? So if we click on this, you can see this is the house. When I close it out, watch, it goes right back to that area. It's important to do that because sometimes if I click on another button, let me just put my finger on it, right? Then I don't know where that house is, right? But I want to make sure that it's this one, okay? Now, the next important thing is that we make sure that we have our settings correct. So up here on our settings, and right now, I'm not going to mess with for sale. I'm not going to mess with potential listings. I only want recently sold, okay? So that's cool. Oops. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. All right. Let me make sure, where's our house at? See this one? Yeah, this one right here. Okay. Any price, I'm keeping this open. Minimum price, maximum. I don't want to put a limit on how low or how high houses are selling for that area. Right now, I want you to do 0 bedrooms, all right? I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? I'm explaining why, okay? Home, right here, this is a house, right? So it's a house, right? So boom. So only thing I want pulling up is houses. More, I'm gonna leave the bathrooms 0+. I'm gonna leave my square footage minimum to maximum. Lot size, any. Maximum HOA, any. And year built, obviously, any. Sold in the last 6 months, this is what I want. So I want last 6 months. Don't do last 12. That's too much, okay? The reason why that's too much is because 6 months is pretty far already. So if someone bought it based off of this and it took them 3 months to rehab it and another month and a half to sell it, that means that's almost as close to being another 12 months. That market could be completely different in a year, okay? So 6 months is about as far as we want to go, okay? And then we're gonna hit apply, which all my settings are set up. All right, and so what I want to do is I want to zoom out because this is pretty tight and we don't have a whole bunch of sales right in the area, right? But we do have one right here, but I'm gonna zoom out quite a little bit. I might do one, and I might do one more. Now, the farther we go out, obviously, let me see if I can move this out of the way. The farther we go out, we're obviously going to see more and more. Got to keep in mind, our house is like right here on Dunbury Drive, right? So right here, the one that stands out is the closest. Here's what I'm saying, guys. Don't pick the ones that are just, are going to give you the best numbers because that's not what an appraiser is going to do. The appraisers are always going to start with the houses that are closest to the subject property. We refer to the property that we're looking to wholesale as the subject property, okay? So our subject property is like right around here. This is where we're going to be at. This is going to be the first one that we see. It looks like it's a decent price, 128. All right. And now what I'm looking for basically is this house, is it rehabbed? All right. So we got some nice pictures of the outside. So I look on the inside, we got that parquet floor. Some people like it. I personally don't, but I don't believe that this is new. I can look at the kitchen. This is not rehabbed, right? Everybody can pretty much agree upon that, right? You guys still got the old Brady Bunch refrigerator back here, right? So it's not, I'm right now, I'm picturing Martha come down and trying to, sitting by the fireplace right now. So this is not a renovated home. So because it's not a renovated home, I want to take note of this, right? I want to take note of this, but I don't want to really use it for my ARV. Does that make sense? Right? I don't really want to use it for my ARV because this is not after repair, right? This is not HGTV 2019. This is more like, I don't know, 1997, right? So still got the little doily joints on that's old school, right? So, but it's a clean home. The fact that it's sold for 127.5 is a pretty good sign, right? So if I can't find something better, then I'll come back to this. It'll give me a point of reference. But right now, I'm not going to write this one down, okay? So that was this one right here. If this was a house, just think about it, right? If this house right here sold at 128, and it was a nice house, but it was just dated. Do I really think this house right here is rehabbed? Probably not, right? It's probably not rehabbed, but let's just see. And guess what? It's not. It's another Brady Bunch house, right? So it's not that it's a bad house. It's just that it's not updated, okay? All right. So let's see if we can find something. Just
I was about to say, yeah, she told me I need to update it, like 10, 15,000.
Well, yeah, they're all going to need updating unless you
Yeah.
get into a house somehow, some way where it's completely. I don't even see anything around here. Okay, there we go. I don't see anything. This actually might be a good lesson right here. This might be a really good. So that's 163. What is that? 41, 63. So just without even knowing this neighborhood, if I saw this highest price house at 128 and it looked like that, I know none of these houses are renovated without even having to go through all of them. That makes sense, right? It just, there's no way that this one sold for 128 not renovated, and this one sold for 40 and it's going to be renovated. It's not going to happen. So I don't even need to go through all these. What I want to do now, let's see what these for sales are, because here's one thing. The more and more you get into this, right, you'll see the way realtors and sellers are perceiving a market and whether or not the trend is going up or the trend is going down. You're going to be able to determine this by what are real estate agents listing houses for. Okay, some of them are crazy. Some of them are going to put a house that they think they could, you know, that really is going to sell for 150, and they're going to put it up there for 250, right? Because they're stupid. Really, it's a tactic that they use, and you guys can learn from this. There's a tactic that they use to get the seller to sign an agreement saying that they'll be the listing agent, knowing that that house will never sell for that amount, just so they can get him in the listing agent and say, 30 days later we haven't had him bite. Let's drop the price, but they already got him signed, right? So that's a tactic that they use. But let's see what we got here. Let's see what houses are being sold for. We got 29,000. We got an 83,000, 60,000, 90,000, 65. This whole area, none of these houses. What's the highest one? We got a 90,000 down here. Let's see what this looks like. So it looks like none of these houses are being completely renovated. So, that picture, yeah, this is not really renovated. The bathroom looks halfway decent, but okay. So here we go. So this particular area obviously there's not too many houses, at least on Zillow. There probably are on the MLS, but there are not too many houses that are on Zillow that are selling that are completely rehabbed. I think even if I back out one more, I'm probably not going to find too much. And this might be too far out, so we'd have to check this on your GPS. What is this? What's this 144? And you guys know if there's no pictures, then you need to read, because normally they want to sell this house. So if it's a renovated home, then they're going to tell you in here that this is a renovated home. Sold for 144 in 2018. Okay. All right. So we're not finding anything of really good use. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to go back into, I'm going to get rid of these here. What we're going to do is go back to, remember we talked about that house, which I didn't think we were going to have to use, right here. All right. So we're going to go back to this house right here and click on this. I'm going to put this down as my number one. Okay. So we got our subject property, and then we got our sold properties. So we got our subject property, and then we're going to put in number one, and I'm going to put the address 15813 Dunbury Drive. That's all I need. 3, 1.5, and 1644 square feet. Guys, listen to this. This right here, this is something that I love doing this, right? This is cool. So look at the square footage, right? Because you can do this with bedrooms, bathrooms. Look at the square footage, 1,644. These are things that some wholesalers miss, okay? So pay attention to this. 1,644 square feet, okay? Let me close this. Our subject property is 15,905. All right, 1,576 square feet, okay? So this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, okay? 4-bedroom, 2-bath. If the roles were reversed, right? Or matter of fact, let's not even make the roles reverse. Just apples to apples, right? The other house, the subject property, I'm sorry, the comp was bigger, but it had 1 less bedroom, and one less bath, or half of a bath, right? Don't you think that if they could squeeze a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in a 1,576 square foot house, don't you think they could do the same thing? Turn that 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath to 16, that's 1,644 square feet. We could turn that probably into a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, right? If they did it here in the same neighborhood, we could do it in another neighborhood, right? This is why I was saying that once you get to a certain point, you'll be able to think creatively, and the bedroom, bathrooms they're important. But if we're ripping everything out anyway and we're doing construction from new, what does it matter? Like, I can make that, as long as the footprint is big enough, I can turn that into whatever, right? If they could do it in a 4-bedroom, they could do it in a 1,600 square foot. I mean, if they can do it in a 1,500 square foot home, they can do it in a 1,600 square foot home. Make sense? Don't pass up on deals, or don't neglect that, or devalue a particular asset, a particular home, because, oh, this one's a 4-bedroom and the other one's a 3-bedroom. Okay, that's why. Excuse me. That's why after I get to a certain point, I stop looking at the bedroom so much, and I'm basing everything off of the square footage. Because when I rip those walls out, I can create how many bedrooms I want to create. Make sense? All right. So anyway, I'm sorry, I should have kept that up there. So when we get to this point, we can go ahead and go for more, right? Or you can just do the math, and it will tell you. I need to go do it twice. It'll tell you how much is sold for per square foot. So this one thing sold for $78 per square foot. Okay, so I'm just going to write down 78. All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. After this one, let's find one. Obviously, that AK one was a steal. Let's see what this one was. This one's close, because remember, our subject property is right here, right? Let's see what this one is. Sold for 72, 3-bedroom, 1-bath. And this was, I'm not even going to keep writing down these addresses because I want to speed this up. And this is a 3-1, and this is 1088. Most important thing is the square footage, and see how much it's sold for. Again, you guys know you can take the selling price and divide by the square footage and figure out what the price per square foot was. But this one shows that it's $66. Okay. This is actually a really good example because this gives you a little, I know a lot of people have trouble with this, right? All right, let me slide out a little bit more. Let me find subject properties here. We got one right here for 99. All right, this is a number 3, 16004 Dunbury Bury Drive, and this was 321180. And this one sold for 84 square feet. $84 per square foot. All right, let me do this math real quick. So we got 3 properties. 78 plus 66 plus 84 equals 228 divided by, oh, I forgot about that, divided by 3. We got an average price per square foot of $76 per square foot. Now keep in mind, none of those houses are rehabbed, okay? None of those houses are rehabbed. Man, you know, I don't have any realtor friends. I don't know. I don't know who the heck to call. I don't know. I don't have anybody. I don't have any other access or information except for Zillow. Okay, so this is what we can do. So we know that the houses that are in that type of shape, and you saw what type of shape of those are. That's very important, right? We know the houses in that type of shape in that particular neighborhood are selling for about $76 per square foot. Let's take that 76 times 1576. So our subject property is 1,576 square feet. That means if our subject property was in the same shape, as those houses that we saw, right now on the market, it should sell for about $120,000. Okay, so I'm gonna put a 120. All right, and I'm gonna put it as sale, so it's not really an ARV. Okay, so we know that we're gonna put some money into this thing, right? We know that there's some houses in this area here in the neighborhood that have been bought for 67, that have been bought for 58, been bought for 12, been bought for 70. Okay, We see those prices, right? So all based off of that house of being a current repair or current value of $120,000, how much is it going to cost me to get it to the after repair? So I haven't seen the inside of that house. Willie, have you seen the inside of the house before or yet? I know you didn't.
No, I haven't seen it yet. She just said it needs upgrades, but I didn't go. I mean, updating, I didn't go.
Cool.
Cause it's already, it's actually already. She got family in there, so all like I knocked out all like the big, like the roof and the plumbing, electrical, and stuff like that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Let me just go back to full screen here. All right, so with that in mind, right? With that in mind, when you go into that house, I need you to take a look at how it currently looks. So those three properties that I gave you, 15813 Dunbury Drive, 15905 Evening, I think that was Evening Drive or Evening Avenue, and 16004 Dunbury Drive. Those three properties, go back and look at those properties. And when you walk into that house tomorrow, if they look similar, if the condition is roughly similar, meaning that they're not, a complete tear down, right? They just, you saw what those houses look like, okay? If it looks similar, then you can base that 120 and then say, okay, well, how much is it going to cost me to repair it from this point, okay? From this point. So let's say you get in there and you realize, oh, this is going to, I don't know what the prices are in Cleveland, but in order to do a full house in Atlanta, it's going to cost like 50,000, right? Or if it's, probably closer to 55, that house that, if we're going to rip everything out, put everything new kitchen, it's going to cost some money. Electrical, roof, the whole 9 yards. Maybe in Cleveland, that same process is 45. I don't know. So from 120 minus 45 is what? Is whatever that is, right? Is 75,000, correct? So at 75,000, build in your fee, right? So let's say you want to make 10,000. If you want to build in your fee of 10,000, so then your max is at 65. And here, because you know that whatever when they fix this thing up, you know that they're the ARV, because I guarantee you there's some houses that sold in that neighborhood. It's just not shown on Zillow.
Yeah.
Once it's fixed up, it's obviously going to be worth a lot more than that 120.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you can't find anything else, and here, I shouldn't went off of that.
Yeah, it was well, she already told me what she wanted for it. She has it was a mortgage for 25, and basically she wanted 40,000 in her pocket. So it was gonna be a total of 65 anyway. And I was gonna get her down to about 55. Based on the numbers I had, but you had it more. I had it like 110 or something like that. So I was gonna try to get her down more.
Perfect.
So she only, so basically she wants the 65. So I'm gonna try to get her down a little lower.
Get her down to the area where she feels comfortable selling, where we're not robbing her.
Yeah, yeah,
But we're able to make some money off it. But what I'm talking about, that price point.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this 3-bedroom that was not fixed. Look at this. This is $72,000 for a house that's 500 square feet smaller, and 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom smaller, right? So this kind of shows you that what I'm telling you is correct here, right? You can see that these houses, this is what they're going for that neighborhood. This is 58,000, and it's 1,000 square feet small, 500 square feet smaller, right? So, and obviously these are steals, right? But these houses right here, this one was sold for 67, and it's 1,000 square feet smaller. 70, and it's more. It's almost 600. It's actually 600 square feet smaller, right? So that's the prices that these investors are buying these houses for. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you can get around the 55, you'll probably have that thing sold in no time, right? But even at 65, based off of what we're seeing here, you should be able to get that thing sold. It might be a little bit harder, but you should be able to get that thing sold because you already got people. The first thing I would do is I would see who bought this house right here for 72 at 500 square feet smaller than my subject property. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Or this person here. This person might be an actual person who lives in it, but look at who was buying these houses here and then figure out, say, all right, let me skip trace this person, this person, and this person, and let me see if they're an investment company. Because if they are, then they're buying in this neighborhood, and hey, I got a better house for you. You bought this house and it was in the same condition and it was smaller. Here's this one bigger for only $3,000 more. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Can I help you?
So yeah, so basically on the 120, you said with the repairs, let's say if they do like I guess like a full rehab or something like that, would you, so after you do that, you add the 45, you said subtract it, right?
Subtract it.
Okay, from the 120.
Correct.
So after they do that, then the price of the what's the name be higher, right? Or it just be at that 120? Since
No.
the other house sold it.
No, after they fix it,
it'll
they're
be 120.
no. Remember what I said. You're gonna only do that if after you get, because you haven't seen the house, I haven't seen the house. If you walk, this is one of the houses right here, right? This house right here. You see my screen, right?
Yeah.
This is our properties that we compared. So if you walk into the house, if you walk into this house, and it looks similar to this, meaning like, look, it's not jacked up in here. It's just, it's just dated, right? Like they don't, crackheads haven't been in here and ripped all the public copper wiring out, right? It's just a dated home. Look at this wallpaper, right? Like it's just a home. You walk into this home, and because you're now you're not comparing it to what it could be. You're comparing it to what it is and what these properties have sold for. So you're now comparing it to what this property currently looked like. You understand what I'm saying? Because you don't have any other comparables. You don't have any after repair comparables to look at. Do you get what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. So if you walk into your subject property, 15905 Dunbury Drive, if you walk into your subject property tomorrow and you see stuff like this, it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but if it looks dated like this, clean, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in the right ballpark. I'm in the right ballpark. Because here's the thing. Let's say you're off. Let's say you're at 65. Let's say she wants 65 and you're trying to sell it for 75, but you can't get it sold. You can't get it out for 75. You can always come back to her and say, listen, there's some things that we overlooked. Unfortunately, we can't do it for this price within your time frame, right? We can't do it for this price. The best we can do is 55. By that time, you would have gotten some feelers on your buyers, and your buyers would have said, nah, I can't do that price. I can't do it at that price. And what's the best you can do? The best I can do is like 67, right? So now you got some feelers for, okay, what the market's looking for. And then you can come back to them and say, we can't do it for 65. Unfortunately, the way we're looking, the way the market is going, the construction costs, I overlook this, I overlook that. I didn't think about having to do this. The best we can do is 55. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, just because you get that thing sold doesn't mean, especially if you use the contracts that we have, just because you get that thing sold doesn't mean that it's, you're locked in for life. Like you're gonna have to buy this property. Makes sense?
Yeah. So if it's not like the 45, let's say if you're not doing like a full rehab, but it's like the rehab is less than that, you just subtract it from the 120, right? And you go off that.
I would subtract the way the market is looking, the way it's looking in that neighborhood. I would just go ahead and subtract that 45.
Okay.
And I don't even know the Cleveland prices. I know general cost of construction, and you're probably gonna be looking at, to make it look like a HGTV, to make it look like those houses when they walk in and they're like, wow, I want this house. You're gonna spend 40 grand easy. You're gonna spend 10 in that, just in the kitchen.
Okay.
All right, cool, man. All right. I know that took a little bit of time. We're an hour and 24 minutes into this thing. Good Lord. Anybody got any pressing questions real quick? All right. Perfect. All right. Well, man, I know it went a little more at length on this emotion and feeling thing, but it's so super important. I really want you guys to don't just write those notes and take notes and not do anything, and apply some action. Make yourself feel good. Make yourself feel good about, what you're doing. Let me see real quick. How do I get some time on your calendar? Oh, Anthony, just reach out to me. I guess if you don't have my number, just go ahead and text me. If you do have my number, text me. If not, just reach out to me on direct message if we haven't gotten your phone call. And some people still haven't gotten their phone calls in. So just do that and we'll link up. We'll link up. All right, cool. All right, everybody. I think this is gonna wrap this one up. Nobody got anything else? All right, perfect. I appreciate it, man. You guys go out there and let's take action. I love you guys.
Yeah, my bad. I got one question for you.
Oh yeah. All right.
Have you have any experience with calling on for sale by owner properties on the actual website?
The actual website.
Like the for sale by owner.com?
Yeah, I've never gone to forsalebyownr.com and called owners up. I've called for sale by owners. I don't think it matters whether or not they're on the website or not.
Okay.
My experience is I use those people for experience. I use my for sale by owners as guinea pigs to make mistakes on. That's how I use them. But there's some markets that for sale by owners are really good. And then if you start doing like with some of the things we were talking about last week, and we get these FHA 203K people in the wins, then you can, is that the right saying? In the wings or in the wins? In the wings, I think it is. That won't even correct me. Have been going through my whole life saying it the wrong way. So FHA 203K people in the wings, then you can start using for sale by owners as real, on IG. You can start using those as real, some value. You might be able to get a couple of those off.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, man.
All right. I will spend some time with the kids, and we're going to go walk through the woods at night, and I'm going to have fun scaring them. So that's what I'm going to do. Because that's the type of father I am. And you guys have a blessed one, man. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next call. Peace.
Thank you, Tommy. Bye.
Thank
you. Yep.
That was awesome.
Thank you. You are awesome.